got my scrap bit of wood and I have just drawn out a lure shape on it. Not too big, it doesn't have to be perfect, you can just cut around it. I'm just going to roughly cut on it and sand off the bits that I don't want. That's cut out now. Now it's just the width. I'm going to draw the width on it, and I'll sand that down once I've cut that out. Alright, I've drawn out the width of it and the shape I roughly want. I guess I'll cut that out, see how it goes. Given that a really rough cut out, I will get to sanding and try and make it a little bit better, more perfect. It's not so very straight. I reckon I'll be able to turn this into something. Time sanding later. Been sanding for the past like 40 minutes at least, I'd say. I've got the general shape, I reckon it looks good. Now drill the holes and make the line ties. All I'm using to drill the line ties is a 3mm drill bit, and I'll drill straight down the middle and straight down the back. All I'm using for the line tie is 0.9mm MIG wire, and I do this. I grab it a little ways down, bend it, and I crimp there nice and tight, and I grab there, and I bend it up so it looks like that, and then I poke this end in here, and I tighten it right up like that. And all I'm going to do, now I've got that like that, I'm just going to grab my pointing nose pliers with one hand, hold that really tightly, with the other hand turn it on like this, and then, that did look very unclean, but see those first few wraps, that's all we needed. Now I grab my wire cutters and that's a rough little line tie there, it's not my best work. And then you poke it in the end, start twisting it on. I grab my super glue, make sure it's not gunked up on the end, and I'll do a few drops up in there. Ooh, that came out quick. That doesn't matter that we got the glue everywhere. But then you grab your pliers and you twist it the way the thread is facing. Sorry, I should just say the wire, because then the wire acts like a thread. And twist. That's one line tie done, and I'll do the other one. Alright, I've gotten that line tie done, and I'll show you how to fix that mistake I made. I'm going to fill this in with super glue, soaked in, and same for here, yet I'll do something different. I grab bicarb soda or baking soda, whatever you want to call it, same thing. Sprinkle it on there. Now that's sealed up, and I will grab my sandpaper and now it's nice and flush with that. I'll do the same with this little mistake I made earlier. Now for this mistake up the back, third mistake on this little thing, I'm just going to add a bunch of baking powder to it. Look at that, it's already starting to solidify with the glue that I put in earlier. You just dribble a bit of glue on there. So now I've caked that up there. Oop, if it wants to focus. I've caked it up and it's already dry, like it dries instantly. I'm going to sand that flush. And for that, I've just drilled through a bit and then poked a hole in it. Now there's a nice little clean hole, as you can see. Now it's working flush. Okay, now I've got my lure, a paintbrush, some paint primer. It's a tin of white paint primer. It seals it, primes it for painting. Now I've got a bit of MIG wire that I've bent so it goes like that off it, and so it can hang and dry. Now what I'm going to do is just paint this up. Got that all painted up. Now I'm going to go hang and let it dry. Alright, now it's dry. I can give it a paint scheme of whatever I want to. I reckon I'm probably going to do yellow on top, maybe black stripes, and I guess that'd really be it. So I'm going to get to doing that now. I've now painted the top yellow. Just a nice little faint yellow there. On the top is very bright, but the side I did a nice half fade. The bottom I'll leave white. And the side I'm going to try and paint some stripes. Okay, I couldn't find a template for the stripes, so I'm just going to use a scale template. And I'll spray it down like that, like using spray paint, not hand paint this time. I'll see if I can do a half decent job. I've now painted both sides. I've just given a little bit of a dab of yellow on the top and spray painted the scales. I'm now going to let that dry, and I will put some eyes on it right there. So I'm going to go get those eyes while this dries. Alright, I've got my UV resin, my freshly painted lure, my two little eyeballs, and a black light. So, for starters, I'm going to use my Sharpie just to mark out roughly where I want the eyeballs to be. That'll be hard to see for you because it's black on black, but I can see the difference between them. Now I'm going to get my super glue. Now just a tiny drop. Whoa! A lot more than a tiny drop. Now I've got to quickly add my eyeball. And let it dry. Alright, both the eyes are on there. One's a little bit murky. I think I got a bit of super glue on there. I'm just going to scratch it off. Just add a little bit of orange to the mouth there. The eyes are on there. Now it's time for the UV clear coat. This can be pretty hard to do, so I'm going to give it an attempt. Now what I want to do is I just want to dribble it all over it and hope it runs down. clear coat is nearly fully dry. And I reckon it's looking alright. Hopefully the next time you see this I'll be catching fish with it. But for now, I consider it done.